talking about the legendary Princess of Evil, the Dark Princess of Space, the Princess of Darkness, Astronema. So, if you don't know who this character is, let's go a little backstory, quick little character developments over there through the lore, and then we'll talk more about her in the future and in through the comics as well, currently going on throughout this entire episode. She is the figurehead of the United Alliance of Evil, second only to Dark Spectre, the Grand Monarch of Evil. One thing you're going to point out to all these villains is those titles really don't have any meaning. They're kind of like self-appointed, except for Dark Spectres, who's the Grand Monarch of Evil. They all kneeled before him. Like Lord Zed names himself the Emperor of Evil, but in truth, Dark Spectre is the one who rules over them, and apparently she is the heir apparent to Dark Spectre. If anything would ever happen to him, she would immediately take control. Now, who is this character? Well, Astronema is another person named Corone. She was kidnapped as a child by another person named Darkonda on the orders of Dark Spectre. She has been seen to have great potential for the cause of evil. Now, her name, Astronema, comes from astronomy and the space constellation Andromeda, so easy to put those together quickly there. She has quickly identified as a very mood-changing hairstyles, you could say. She was constantly, every few episodes, changing her hair on the whim, from purple to red to sparkles to this and that. It has so many different hairstyles, it was more than the Power Rangers seen in the show. Now, as she is seen in the series, she's from the planet KO-35. That is an interesting planet, but it's easily identified as like future constellational things rather than other planets being named. Just called KO-35. It is a human space colony that was attacked. Most of the people were abducted or enslaved or destroyed. The rest were fled off the planet into hiding. Now, she believes that her entire family and brother, which is part of her family, but were all killed during a raid by the Power Rangers. Now, why would she believe this force for good was killing her family? That's actually pretty simple. Just think about this. If you are taken as a child, brainwashed to believe that the evil that you're doing is the good of the time, and these Power Rangers are constantly destroying all these monsters, they would quickly turn that away, like, oh, these monsters are just trying to do what is in their nature. These Rangers are just messing all that up, and like, oh yeah, they're definitely bad people here. Now, in the comics themselves, they're kind of touching on her past self and explaining more of her character, why she thinks that, but we haven't fully gotten into that right now. But let's go back to where she was kidnapped. It's a little sidetracked here, or at least I am. So, she was kidnapped by the Grand Monarch Evil, screaming for help, and transferred to another planet. It is not named what that planet was, but that's where she met Ecliptor and Dark Spectre. She would not remember Darkonda too much. He kind of would pop into her life later on in the space series, and would only eventually have memories of him being this crazy bounty hunter. Now, she would be trained for all this time. I would probably say that they were kidnapping these kids to at least 10 or 11 years. It's probably a range of time period because they don't have an exact number. But she's trained during that time to be this heir apparent to Dark Spectre. So, but she has a fatherly attachment, like a big father figure is not Dark Spectre, but instead Eclipsor. He would train her as to be a warrior of evil, but he would also have a sense of nobility about him and put that into her, well, in some aspects. She would heavily rely on Ecliptor to get things done. He was kind of like the gold of the series, but far more competent and pretty powerful. Definitely pretty powerful. After years of training, competing with other warriors, she would prove herself and she'd be trained in the dark arts of magic. That's pretty vague. most Rangers go on, villains have some form of magic being used, but what dark arts exactly she was used? She was not like Rita in many ways. She was not a sorceress. Really, she could fight with the best of them toe to toe, but also had a staff known as the Wrath Staff. It's kind of the first of its name not to have like, oh, it's Rita's wand or something like that. This is the Wrath Staff, and that was basically it. She's able to use mind control with it and do battle with her opponents and stuff like that going on there. And she would also, during that time period of being trained, gained the Dark Fortress in an army of robot soldiers called Quantitrons. I probably pronounced that wrong, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Where she got the Dark Fortress and the Quantitrons, it's not really known, but it probably will lead up in the Boom comics, explain more about that, where that came from. But that's in this time period, that's where she gotta pick up a name for herself to where most people would know who she is upon walking through the door. She was very identifiable. She was very ruthless, and she would actually be one of the first people to find out about a warrior with these armor keys that were supposed to be such great armor that could be near indestructible. And to prevent him from ever using the keys, she would turn him to stone and just leave him there, since he would never give them to her. In the series, she shows up first off in the space series, being called up along with all the other forces of evil that have survived and fought the Rangers, and some that have not yet, in the presence of the Grand Monarch of Evil, where they're talking about forming this alliance of evil. Now, she's immediately suspicious of this cloaked figure, but doesn't say anything at first, until Divatox kind of like becomes super suspicious and starts like going like, who are you, cloaked figure, da da da, I've done all these great things, what have you done? And they're all immediately jealous of Astronema, because they kind of like start whispering about her, and she's super powerful, that she can block with one hand the attack from Rita. That's kind of like unprovoked. She just like turns it to dust in her hand and just like drops it. But she rises up from the seat, points at that cloaked figure, and goes, he's a spy. In the most, I would say, it's a Golden Globes award winning point. That's called sarcasm, guys. It's kind of a bad line, but hey, it's Power Rangers, is not known for its lines. So, fight ensues. The cloaked figure is revealed to be the Red Ranger from the Space Rangers, and he gets away. But she chases after him because she's sent to kill him, because Dark Spectre wants him dead. Also, probably realizing right then and there, hey, this is great way to prove her loyalty. Go kill your brother. But you don't know it's your brother, so I'm not going to tell you that. Now, this would start the beginnings of the Space Rangers. La-di-da-di-da. She would show up, fight with the Rangers many different times on Earth, and kind of all over space as they're trying to find Zordon, who had been kidnapped by Divatox. Now, during these times, she'd go back and forth, back and forth. She would even try to possess the Rangers, destroy them from the inside, but she like switched the bodies of her and Ashley, the Yellow Ranger, and try to sneak and destroy them inside, and kind of find out that they're not that bad of people at first, but still go, I need to destroy them. Around her neck during this fight, is a little locket that has a picture of her family and Andros. I think it's actually just her and Andros as kids. And Andros has the same thing and kind of realizes, what's going on here? And she's like, I don't know. You stole that. You probably killed my family, and took that. Not putting two together, because they have very similar hairstyles. Like, Andros' hairstyle never changed from a kid to Ranger form. Who knew? But also during this time, she would do one of the few things that Rangers villains have never done, is attack while the Zords are transforming. It wouldn't work in the end, but she'd be like, I'm not going to let you power up, and start like attacking immediately. So, smart on her. She would also fall in love with the Silver Ranger, Zane. However, would not be able to stay together with him, ending the relationship badly by saying there was too many lies going on. Kind of shows that she's more human. There's a good little episode, because she's starting to realize there again, hey, the Rangers aren't all bad. Maybe it's just the Red Ranger I should hate, because, well, he has a family of my family locket, and he definitely killed my father and brother and mother. So, poor Zane though kind of gets heartbroken there because evil goth girl babe hairstyle changing leaves him again. Never brings up that relationship kind of ever again, and I don't really know. I can't really remember if Zane ever brought up to the fact that he was kind of like dating Andros' sister. I can't really remember that. I had to go back to the entire series again to rewatch it, but I don't think so. It's kind of like one of those plot points we're just gonna drop. But hey, I'm not gonna talk about it too much. Now, the moment she finally accepts the fact that her brother is Andros and helps him find Zordon, she's captured by Eclipsor, who has been brainwashed by the Grand Monarch of Evil after realizing that both of them have turned kind of towards good, because Eclipsor would have done anything for her. I mean, he literally would have betrayed everybody for her. And because of this, he is taken and brainwashed, sold out by Darkonda, and they are taken. She's captured again. Her emotions are removed. She's turned to with cybernetic implants to control her, and they also call her Circuit Astronema, or a few other, like Locutus Astronema is like the fan base calls her because of the Star Trek reference. But she becomes much more dark-hearted, like completely emotional, like evil only. That's it going on, and comes up with some of these crazy plans. Now, the first major plan she puts out in this new form is the Psycho Rangers, and I did a video about them before, but they're extremely powerful, homicidal counterparts of the Power Rangers. They don't care. They destroy the Rangers before anything else, but also she uses them not just to destroy the Rangers, but also to drain the energy from Dark Spectre. Now, Dark Spectre doesn't realize this, and is slowly weakening him, and he doesn't really understand why, not realizing, hey, my newest, well, not my newest, but my revamped villain here would not betray me. I just turned her even eviler and even more loyal. She would definitely not betray me, because that's not what evil does. But instantly what goes on there? She's already making plots to take his throne, but when you make yourself as the Princess of Evil and the heir apparent of evil, you would think, hey, I've got to give up my throne at some point. But whatever. Dark Spectre was not thinking of that. But so Dark Spectre would die at the hands of Darkonda, not realizing that Astronema was trying to usurp his throne. But he would dive through a planet missile, but he would also kill Darkonda at the same moment, leaving the only people stopping her from the throne dead. She was literally, they're all gone. Besides a few, like Zed and all them, she quickly takes the throne and quickly claims her prize as the Queen of Evil. Not as impressive a title as the Emperor of All Evil, but hey, you can't compete with Lord Zed. He had such a dramatic entrance. So she's, the fight happens. The entire Ranger force is being beat up throughout the galaxy as every evil force consolidates and going on there. She attacks Earth and is defeated by her brother. She not only is defeated by her brother, but almost completely destroyed and killed by her brother by accident when the ship crashes, and he just attacks Zordon, who says, kill me so I can unleash this wave and stop this entire army. And the Zordon wave goes through, wipes out all evil. She is only saved through the love Andros felt for his sister, and through random crap of bringing her back, because a few tears laying in her face can restore it. I personally think that's a cop-out thing. It should have been like the last remaining goodness in there would have restored her, and Zordon felt pity for her whole thing. But I'm not the writer of this. So she would be returned back to Corone. All her evil circuits would be destroyed by the Zordon wave, and she'd be turned totally human again. Now she's just got a lot of redeeming to do. And that's how the series for Space ended. Next series, she pops immediately back up by immediately, I mean more than halfway through the series, in Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. So about a year or so later, the Pink Ranger Saber, the Quasar Saber, falls in the hands of evil on the planet Onyx, which Onyx is a Western-style lawless world full of villains and alien creatures and a whole assortment of other people. Not all of them are evil. Not all of them are good. Not all. They're kind of like, leave me alone. I've come here to do whatever I want, and nobody can tell me otherwise. She, in this pretty epic fight, actually, sorry, not pretty epic fight, but pretty epic way, appears on this planet after there's an auction going on for this Quasar Saber. Everyone's throwing out money, and she just walks up fully dressed up as Astronema once more. Makes everyone think, oh crap, she went right back to evil. Where's her brother? Who's putting a leash on this girl? She just went right back to evil, and no one's worried about it. And all the villains there apparently didn't get a memo that she got turned back to good. And apparently they're going, well, she's back to evil now, so that makes more sense. And they just give her the saber, and she doesn't even pay any money for it. But then it's revealed that Trakina, kind of the main villain of that series, looks up at her, another strong female role, goes, she's not Astronema. Astronema was defeated. She's turned good. I'm in the know. Don't trust her. And Astronema immediately goes, crap, you're right, and fights them all back and runs off and hides with the saber, completely revealing that she's actually Corone now, and she was just using Astronema as disguise. Now, she has been known to go in disguises multiple different times, so it's kind of like a good callback there. And she's playing this I need to redeem myself arc. I can use this thing for good rather than evil. And she meets up with the other Rangers of the Lost Galaxy, returns the Quasar Saber to them, but then only finds out that she is worthy of the Quasar Saber. Now, she has a lot of inner conflicts with this. She goes, about a year ago, I was trying to kill the Rangers. I'm not worthy of being a Ranger herself, especially after she watched one of the Rangers, the Pink Ranger before her, die at the hands of Psycho Pink, a creation she built again. So she killed another Ranger, technically through one of her quote-unquote children. So just going through that, Trakina comes in conflict, playing on Corone's issues there, her inner conflicts, and Astronema appears once more as a Corone has to go deal with those inner demons. They fight, and she proves to herself as well as that she has to give it the past to become the true Ranger and push all self-doubt from there. Now, she would have a few more little episodes of Ranger building, but she kind of developed at the end of the series, and I thought that was a fantastic whole arc. She's the first villain to go from one season to the very next, from villain to hero, and I thought that was fantastic going on there. Good full storyline. Supposedly she would pop up here and there. Her gauntlet was not destroyed in the Zordon blast, and appears in Beast Morphers as one of the Ryjack's collection. But overall, nothing else survived of her. She's talked about in Tommy Oliver's Ranger Files, but that's kind of it. The only major source of information we're going to get now is through the comics. They have a whole thing going on with the Power Rangers and the Mighty Morphin series going on. So yeah, just want to know, there's a Mighty Morphin series and there's a Power Rangers series, and she's showing up in the Power Rangers series, which has to do heavily in space. And her first introduction in that was the most latest comic. I think it's issue number 6. I was very surprised. It threw me off, and I really liked it. Her just showing up there. She's proven herself. She's declared herself as the Princess of Evil, but she has no idea kind of what that means. And not like the Vegas sense, like not knowing what that means, but she kind of just looks at it and goes, oh, cool. I am this thing. Well, right now she's basically playing the part of an assassin. She's going to kill the Rangers, and she's going to prove herself to the Grand Monarch of Evil, Dark Spectre. Now, she's also appeared in the Shattered Grid, where she meets her brother when she's at Lost Galaxy and he's still in space. But he doesn't recognize her as Astronema yet, and it's kind of interesting. And she just kind of like remains silent on the issue, but they do hug and have a family embrace. It is pretty cool. So I thought that was really nice, touching. I feel as though she should get her own series later on to explain more, but I think that's what Boom Studios is doing. They're going to add a bunch more to it and go from there. So I hope you guys like this episode. This is really good. I kind of want to push this out because of her new issue. It's coming out there. She was in 6, and then she has her own new special, which I believe is... I'll link it here. I'll put a picture of it at the end of it. The video, probably popping up right now, of the new title for her. But I have yet to read it. It just came out the 31st of March. So keep that in mind. Go check that out. It's only $7.99 an issue by Boom Studios. But I have yet to read it, and I need to. You guys have a good one. Be safe, and may the power protect you always. We'll be back soon with more and more villains and heroes that you guys want to know more about. So make sure to like, subscribe, and comment. I want to know what you want me to talk about next, and may the power protect you always.